I want to address women and how women should create wealth because I believe women haven't been told what is the easiest, effortless way to create wealth in their life. Because through our past generation, women were shamed, blamed, and the way women were treated caused a lot of chaos. And then women were told that the only way they can be successful if they compete with men, if they become equal to men. And that's the only way they can create success in their life. They can be as successful as men. And that is the biggest lie that women have been told. And this feminist agenda ultimately created more pain than that level of wealth that women want. Yes, some women are very successful in material world, but ultimately the trade-off has been health, the trade-off has been burnouts, the trade-off has been sacrifices. And that is not the way for a woman to create wealth. That is the masculine way of making money that women have adapted in order to have wealth and abundance in their life. But that came with the sacrifices that women had to make emotionally, energetically, physically. In my opinion, that is the hardest path. In my opinion, that is a misaligned path for women to be successful, to create wealth, because God has made women a vessel of creation. Women can give birth. God already planted that energy in women to be able to create, to be able to be in that energy of creation. And that is such a beautiful, beautiful gift that women have. And it's not just physically that they can create, but energetically, spiritually, they have the intuition, emotional quotient, intelligence to create wealth in such a powerful way, such a powerful and easy and effortless way that women are unaware of. This is why I want to talk about this, because feminine energy can create more money than masculine energy, because feminine energy is already coded in creation. Feminine energy is all about effortlessness. Feminine energy is all about ease and flow. And when we talk spiritually, the spiritual energy is also, the universal energy is also ease and flow. The more easy, more surrender, more nurturing, more comforting we are, more easily things flow to us. More easily the universe delivers, more easily things happen for us, because nature is effortless, nature is easy. And this is why when women try to be in their masculine energy, try to hustle, try to work hard, try to push, it leads to burnout. It leads to health issues. It leads to a lot of pain, a lot of sacrifices. And this is why a lot of women are emotionally exhausted. They are burnt out. They're trying to win a race that is not made for them. It is not designed for women, because the 9 to 5 structure was made by keeping men in mind. The 9 to 5 structures is not made for women. And this is why women struggle, because women are emotional beings. We operate not from structure, we operate from feelings, we operate from emotions. Our hormones have 28-day cycle or 30-day cycle, right? Where men have 24-hour cycle. This is why a man can wake up early and be energized and go to work, feel great, be productive, does his job, goes to the gym, works out, comes home, eat his food, and then he sleeps. And then in the morning he wakes up feeling again energized, because men have 24-hour hormonal cycle, where women, we have 28-day cycle. And this is why, as women, we struggle in 9 to 5 culture. As women, we struggle to keep up with the energy every single day and feel exactly the same way every single day, because we don't have that. We don't have 24-hour hormone cycle. We have 28 days hormone cycle. So the structure of 9 to 5 is for men. And this is why women struggle, because we completely dismiss who we are as a being to compete with men. And that is not the way to be successful. That is not the way to achieve wealth. Women who want to be wealthy, they need to understand that they need to honor themselves in order to create bigger wealth. Because the more they sacrifice, the more they push, the less money they have. The more they try, the less productive they are. And you let me know if you feel that, because we have to understand the world we are living in and how we can adapt things that works for us. For many, many years, women completely dismissed their own self to fit in to the masculine world, to fit into that reality. And that reality made us feel like we have to prove ourselves. We have to chase. We have to work even harder. And as women, I will tell you from my experience, and you let me know if that's true for you. But as women, we always have to work harder. So when I was in corporates, when I was working for banks, I had to work triple amount than any guy that was in my team. We had the same position, same role, but I had to work harder. Why? Because we feel as women that we want to do better. We want to prove ourselves. We need to prove ourselves. So the world we live in is mainly created for men, and this is why it's easier for men in working environment. It is a lot easier for men than women. We feel that we have to prove it, that we are good enough. We have to prove that we can work as hard as a man. That idea of proving ourselves makes us harden ourselves, makes us be emotionally disconnected with ourselves, makes us burn out, makes us physically unhealthy, makes us be completely in detachment with our feminine energy. And that only creates more chaos. That only creates more pain. And ultimately, we reach a point where we can no longer do this. We can, especially if you're spiritually connected and if you are awakened and conscious, we can no longer do that type of work. We are like this complete misalignment. And ultimately, either through pain or health issues, we leave. So this is why it is important as women, we understand how to create wealth from a place that is more effortless, from a place that feels true to us. Because as women, we meant to be creators. This is why women thrive in creative spaces, because naturally, intuitively, we are creative. And women meant to be in creative space. And by the way, I'm not here to motivate you. I am here to initiate you in your higher truth. And this is why I'm sharing that with you, because I want you to know that the more you hustle, more you work harder, the more challenging it will be to create wealth and success that you deeply desire. And the more we are detached from our feminine flow, feminine energy, more harder we make it for ourselves. Wealth wasn't meant to be difficult. Money isn't meant to be difficult and complicated. Success isn't meant to be complicated. Wealth is part of the identity we are operating in. It is not about chasing money. It is about operating in the identity where wealth gets attracted, money gets attracted. And that is the identity that as women, we need to operate in order to create more wealth. By the way, I'm doing this powerful event on 11/11, the Soul Business Activation. This event is for people who want to operate from their soul calling, who feel that they are made for more and they're meant for more, people who want to start their business, and people who already have their business but feel stuck, feel like they are not succeeding the way they desire to. So I'm doing Soul Business event on 11th of November. So if you're interested in opening and expanding yourself in the energy where you have more clarity, where you feel that connection with your mission, your desire, so that the abundance, wealth flow easily and effortlessly, then you can click the link below to register for that event on 11th of November. Let's get back to the video. And as I talked about, the generational beliefs and generational trauma of women have been, they felt shamed for wanting to make money. They were treated badly for wanting to have money. They were abused. They were tortured. So there's a lot of generational trauma when it comes to making money as women. And as we rise in our truth, as we own our truth, as we become more divine feminine, because that is your truth. You are a divine feminine who is unaware of her divine self. So, my purpose is for you to awaken that divine feminine within you so that you realize how easy it can be wealthy, to be successful. It isn't meant to be hard. And these generational beliefs and trauma, they create more chaos for us because we feel ashamed of asking. We feel shame of putting ourselves out there. We feel ashamed of asking for our worth. We feel ashamed of asking for our value. And those are the shame that women gone through generations, and a lot of deep shame that women hold when it comes to creating something, when it comes to asking for their worth, whether in work environment, when it comes to promotions, or whether in business, whether being an entrepreneur and asking your worth and owning your prices, owning that this is my price, this is the price that I feel that I am deserving of having. There's a lot of shame attached to it, and people shame that, oh, how can you charge this much, or how can you do this? But ultimately, when you know your divine self, when you are operating from your divine feminine, you will stop shaming, you will stop attaching yourself to what people are saying. You start owning your truth, knowing that this is who you are. And this is the space we want to get to. We don't want to shame ourselves for asking our worth. We don't want to shame ourselves for being who we are. We don't want to shame ourselves for our identity, right? As women, we want to own it. We want to own it without any apology. We want to own it without trying to explain to anyone that this is my price or this is my worth. We want to own it, that this is who I am. And that's where the identity work comes in. Identity work is all about you owning that this is who I am. I'm worthy of having the money. And the reason I don't want you to shame yourself for whatever money you want is because ultimately, if we look at from a spiritual perspective, if we look at from a higher divine perspective, we know that the nature, the universe is abundant. God has made it abundant because God wants us to know that everything is abundance. The only reason people kind of pinch themselves off is because of the conditioning, because of the beliefs, because of what people are saying. The 3D. We focus on too much on 3D. Ultimately, we are multi-dimensional. We are not just in one plane. We are not just in physical plane in the 3D. We are on a intellectual plane. We are on a spiritual plane. So they are the multi-dimension that we are. This is why we cannot put ourselves in a box thinking I can only have this much. No, ultimately, divinely, you are abundant. Even if you charge 100 million for your services, it is still not, you're charging too much. You are not. Because there will be people who will be willing to pay you that amount of money. Yeah, there might be few people, there might be one or two people in the world who might be willing to pay you that amount. But what I'm saying is, from God's perspective, there is no judgment. Whether you make $1, whether you make $100, whether you make $100,000, whether you make 1 million, doesn't matter. From higher perspective, from a spiritual perspective, none of it matters. God never judges you how much money you are making. This is why we cannot shame people. We cannot, and this is the most important thing as women we need to know. We cannot judge and we cannot shame. When we hold judgment on how other people use their money or how other people have money, and we have judgment, then we are creating separation. We are separating ourselves from our truth. We are separating ourselves for our divine truth. From God perspective, doesn't matter. You can have whatever money that you want and you can spend it however you want it. But whenever we hold judgment, the judgment comes from feeling like I am not capable of having it, therefore I'm going to judge someone for them to have it. And sometimes it's very sneaky, sometimes it's not even conscious, it's very subconscious. Oh, look how they're showing off their wealth. Oh, look how she's showing off her luxury bag. I would never buy that bag. I would never spend money on this. When we say these things, I will never do this. So the universe is like, okay, she doesn't want money. She doesn't want wealth because she is creating this separation that she will not have spent it like this. She will not do this. She will not do that. And all these judgment create filters, create this separation, these barriers, these blocks that will stop us from having the wealth and abundance with ease. Because if you want to talk about ease come from for releasing all this judgment. Ease come from releasing all the shame and owning that I love being able to have money that I can use easily and effortlessly. Right? This is one thing we need to be aware of. The second thing is shame. Like I talked about, shame is very deep. For women, shame is the most deepest wound that women hold. And this shame can block abundance. This shame can block wealth. And this is why releasing the shame and the guilt around money and around wanting money, around having money, around receiving money. Most women operate from a dysregulated place because they hold all this shame and guilt and all that trauma around not only theirs, but generational trauma around women wanting to be successful. There's a lot of shame. Like for me, putting myself out there, a lot of people shame me for like, well, you come from a very different type of culture and you're not meant to do this and you're not supposed to do that and you're not meant to be open and speaking as women. You're meant to be shy and you're meant to be quiet and you're meant to be this and you're meant to be that. And that's the culture I came from. So for me to put myself out there, for me to speak the way I speak, I still have family members who shame me for creating these videos. So can you imagine, as women, even if we are not doing anything harmful, we are still being shamed for doing what we love. And a lot of women hold that as, people will judge me, people will not accept me, therefore I'm going to be small, I'm going to hide, I'm not going to show up. But ultimately, as a divine feminine, when we are activating that energy, that frequency, we are creating complete detachment and discernment that I'm no longer accepting outside opinion or judgment. I'm going to own my truth. I'm going to own who I am. And that owning our truth will allow us to quantum leap in a way that is just magical. And this is why I do not take anything from the outside. I dismiss a lot of beliefs because I know the higher truth. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my soul. Intuitively, I feel it. And when I'm so connected with the higher truth, doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they say. I know intuitively the right thing to do. And when I know intuitively that is the right thing to do, doesn't matter how many people outside shame me, guilt trip me, say things about me, it would not impact me because that is not my truth. That is their truth. They are operating from their truth. They are creating these judgment from their truth. They are creating these limitation and insecurities for themselves, not for me. I don't buy into those beliefs. It's not my belief. So they can say whatever they want. It would not impact me because I know that whatever people say, they speak from their own limitation. They speak from their own filter. And when people speak from their own filter, then they are actually talking about themselves. When they say that, how can she speak, or how can she be so open, or how can she put herself out there, then they are basically saying, I will never be able to do that. Therefore, I'm going to judge her for doing that. That's all they're doing. This is why it is not personal attack. It is basically they're just telling their truth. about themselves. So we have to be aware as women not to take other people's opinion as our truth, because it isn't. That is not divine truth. That is not a higher truth. That is not our soul truth. We don't have to take it. And this is why we have to learn to disregard and dismiss anything that is not in alignment with our truth. So the next thing I want you to know, that as women, we create wealth through safety in receiving. We need to feel safe in receiving. And if we are not feeling safe in receiving, if we don't feel safe receiving, if we hold certain trauma or wound within us, or feeling like unworthiness and feeling like I'm not worthy of it, if we are holding those beliefs, then our nervous system remains dysregulated. We operate from this feeling that we will be rejected, we will not be accepted, we will be punished, or we are not enough, we are not worthy. That is a dysregulated nervous system. In order to create wealth as women, we need to be open to receive. We need to have a regulated nervous system. We need to be in energy of openness, that I am worthy, I am the frequency of abundance, and I can receive it with ease and effortlessness, because God has created me and God is abundant. Therefore, I am abundant. I am part of nature. Therefore, I am abundant. And we have to be open for that. Our nervous system needs to be open energetically, emotionally, physically. We need to be open to receive on all levels. And when we are open to receive, we create more wealth. And that's where the ease, effortlessness comes in. It's not about working hard. Now I work only 25% of what I used to work, and I'm making more money than what I used to make. So that is the difference between knowing and really understanding that money does not need to be hard when we are open to receive, when we know the deeper truth, when we are operating from multi-dimensional level, not just physical level, not just physical plane, but multi-dimensional level. Yes, the physical body is in physical plane, but intellectual mind plus spiritual awareness, all of that combined, we are operating, we are frequency that is creating, manifesting 24/7, and we have to be operating from that place. We have to be owning that. We have to know that we are worthy, we are loved, we are enough, and we have to own that fully without shame and guilt. So when I work with my clients, it's not about me teaching them how to work harder to create more wealth. It's me showing them that how to release those deep wounds that kept them in survival, that kept them in this idea that they have to work harder, this idea that they have to hustle, they have to prove, they have to prove themselves to be worthy, they have to be perfectionist, they have to be perfect. It's none of that. It's just you can own it, you can receive it in your imperfection, in your mess, as long as we are open to receive. And when women learn how to feel safe receiving, they open the floodgates. They open the floodgates to receive more. And wealth does not require you to chase. The more you chase money, more money runs away. You must become the being who attracts wealth, who attracts that level of money, that level of wealth. This is why it is all about embodying your divine feminine, embodying that energy and frequency of woman that is operating from her feminine energy, that is safe in receiving, that is okay with receiving help, that is delegating, that is operating in that goddess energy where she's not working harder, she's not trying more, she's not proving more. She has people who do things for her. She has a lot of help that can support her vision. And this is where the masculine energy is beautiful when it comes to structure, when it comes to support, when it comes to providing and protecting. That is the masculine energy. So we want to rise as divine feminine, but we want to have structure to keep the foundation, to be able to create the vision that we have. So the masculine energy serves as structure, as foundation, as something that holds and provide and support and protect where feminine energy just rise in her vision, create from that intuition, create from that deep awareness. And that's where she create the wealth. That's where she command the wealth to come to her through her embodiment of her divine identity. And that's how the feminine and masculine energy kind of support each other. This is why it is important to honor masculine energy, knowing that masculine energy is there to create a structure, provide support. That's why men are great in protecting, providing, and supporting. Men are great in that. And that's because that's their nature. Naturally, God has made men to be the provider, to be the support system, to have the structure. And this is how the feminine and masculine energies are. And when we own that, when we understand that deeper truth, we operate from that truth. We operate from that energy. So what I want you to know is that wealth isn't outside of you. It is within you. You hold the wealth within you. You just have to remember how to tap into it, how to own it, how to master it, how to really be in that magnetic energy that people come to you to give you opportunities, to give you what you desire. And that's how you own your truth. So if you are ready to own your truth and be in your divine feminine energy, to have wealth and abundance with ease, to be able to operate from a place where wealth become easy and effortless, then I would invite you to click the link below to apply for my mentoring so that you become the woman that you deeply desire, so that you have the success and impact and income that you've always wanted. And if you're ready for that, click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And may the light in me reaches the light in you.